I set up a trip to Abydos and Dindara, which are a little bit north of Luxor, and in order to make that trip, you have to go in a convoy. Now, the convoy itself was kind of interesting. It's a police-escorted convoy, and all the tourists that want to go up in this area are part of that convoy. We must have been protected by about 1,000 policemen of one kind or another, from this gentleman with the rifle to the guy in the with the brown suits. That's the National Tourist Police. And guys with the National Tourist Police, they usually carry these Uzis. The guys in the black uniforms, on the other hand, that's local police. Now, Abydos is the home of one of the most important ancient temples. This is Seti's temple, and this temple is very, very much intact. You can see its roof is still there. If you were a tourist in Ramses or Seti's time and you wanted to go visit an ancient site, the ancient site that you would go visit is Abydos, because it was the burial place for Osiris. Seti placed this temple here, and one of the most important things on the walls here in this temple is there's a complete king list. Now, when I say there's a complete king list, the king list is complete except that Hatshepsut's not on it, but neither is Akhenaten, King Tut, or I, who followed King Tut. They were all stricken off for various reasons. The young prince that's standing there next to Seti, of course, that would be Ramses II, Ramses the Great. This is the only temple that I went into in which there was any ongoing restoration activity. At one point in the convoy, while going back to Luxor from Dindara, the police confiscated all the drivers' operating licenses and told them to keep up with the police car, or they wouldn't be able to keep their license. And the result was we went back to Luxor at high speed. But this is the trip between Abydos and Dindara, and so it's running a little bit slower than that. And one of the things that you might notice is that the people really are apparently very friendly here. At Dindara, we went to the temple of Hatshepsut, and on this temple there is some recognizable personages. The statue of the little prince down there that's so worn away and defaced, that's Caesarion, and he and his mother, Cleopatra VII, Cleopatra the Great, are depicted on this pylon. Now, as I said, this is the temple of the goddess Hathor. This is Hathor's face. It's a woman's face with cow ears usually, or sometimes it's just a cow. And you can see that some of the color still exists in the roof. Now, the Greeks and Romans used to equate Hathor with the goddess Aphrodite or Venus, depending on which name you wanted to use. But it appears to me that she's much more than just a goddess of love. She's also very much involved in fertility and child rearing and that sort of thing. In addition to the fact that this temple is in extremely good condition, the other thing that's interesting about it is that it has a crypt down below. Now, in order to get to it, you almost have to get on your hands and knees and crawl through. But I'm about ready to show you next the passageway down to the crypt. This is coming up out of the crypt. right there, and that's the little passageway right there, and that's where you have to go down. This is my guide coming through on the way down, and this is what we saw once we got down into the crypt. This next picture that's coming up is a picture taken by my guide of me coming up out of the crypt. Every year the big festival was the festival of Opet, and at Opet the gods were loaded onto ships like the one you're about to see, and they were carried from one place to another. Now what's important about this for as far as Hathor is concerned is that she would be carried in a boat like this down to Luxor to visit Amun, and she and Luxor then would sort of celebrate a honeymoon together, and everybody in town would be drinking beer and having a good time. It was the big festival of the year, kind of like Christmas and New Year's and maybe 4th of July all thrown into one. It would occur usually during the summer. Now that brings us back to Luxor and the end of this film. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did.